Hey, you guys, welcome back. Okay, so let's get back to finishing our guided notes here. So now we're going to be naming the ordered pair in the quadrant, okay, from the points that are in the graph. And the directions say identify the ordered pair and quadrant of each point. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the x-axis so that you can see it clearly. Actually, let me go back and try to do a straighter line. Okay, and then down the y-axis. Okay, so we have that highlighted so you can see the different quadrants. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to label the x-axis and the y-axis for you. So this is the x-axis. I'm just going to put the x, and this is the y. All right, remember that, well, actually, let me go ahead and put the point for the origin. Remember the origin we said was going to be orange, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that trend going, okay? So, let me see. I'm going to use this right here. All right. Remember, from the origin on the x-axis, if you go to the right, all of those numbers are going to be positive, okay? And from the origin, if you go to the left, all of those are going to be negative. And then for the y-axis, everything above the origin on the y-axis is going to be a positive, and everything below going down is going to be a negative. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and start naming our points here. Go back to the blue. All right, so point A. We start at the origin, and we're going to move over to the left because here's the point, okay? So let's look and see how many spaces we need to go. I'm actually going to draw a line from this point all the way down to the x-axis so that it's easier for you to see, okay? One of the things that I see students do sometimes, and I've done it myself because it's easy to get confused, is that whenever you're counting, make sure you're counting a full square over before you say 1. Just like you would on a board game. You know, like on a board game, you wouldn't say 1 and count the spot that you're on. You move to the next spot, the next place before you say 1. So you would go 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, and remember, we went to the left, so it's going to be a -3. Okay? And then from there, we're traveling up 1, 2, 3, 4. And since we're going up, it's going to be a positive. Okay? So there's our ordered pair for point A. Now we need to look and see what quadrant it's in. Remember that they go counterclockwise, and it starts here. So go ahead and look at the top of your notes there. So this one's 1, and this one would be 2. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase that for us. I don't want that to confuse you. Okay, so now let's look at point B. Okay, point B is right here. And I'm going to draw another line up to the x-axis so that we can see that clear. So from the origin, we're going to go over 1, 2 places to the right. Okay, it's going to be +2. And then from there, we're going down 1, 2, 3. And since we're going down, it's going to be a -3. Okay, now we need to look and see what the origin is, or not origin, I'm sorry, the quadrant. Remember, counterclockwise, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be quadrant 4. Okay, C is right here. And here's the origin. Now, do we need to move left or right? No, we don't. We're staying right where we're at for the X. So we're just going to put a 0. And then how many places do we need to go up? 1, 2. And remember, that's a positive going up, so it's going to be a +2. Okay? So, looking on here, and it's telling us it's asking what quadrant we're in. Whenever it lies on an axis, you're just going to name the axis that it lies on. Okay? Point C is lying on the y-axis, so you're just going to write y-axis. All right, moving on. Now we are looking for D, which is right here. Okay, so let's count how many places we're going to move over. We're at the origin going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we went to the right, it's going to be positive. And then from there, we're going up 1. And if we're going up, it's positive, so that one's going to be positive 1. And then, so what quadrant is this line in? Quadrant 1. You guys excuse my voice because I'm struggling. Okay, so now we're going to move on to E. And E is right here, if I'm reading it correctly. Okay, so starting at the origin. And on this one, I'm going to draw a line because I don't want to. I'm only drawing the line so that I can kind of track it better with my eyes. So I'm going to start at the origin, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went to the left 4, and that's going to be a negative 4. Okay? Now I need to go down to the point. So I'm going to go traveling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I went down, so it's going to be a negative 6. Okay, so what quadrant is this in? Quadrant 3. Okay, so you're going to do the Roman numeral 3. Or ramen noodle. Okay, so there I said it again. It's at the top of your paper. If you can still hear me, go ahead and put another little mark on there so that you can say, oh, Miss Brawley, I heard you again. Every time you, if you get them all, each time you get one right, I'm going to give you another ticket in the drawing. Okay, fair enough. All right, last one. So now we need to find F. And F is right here. All right, so we're going to start, and let me go ahead and erase that. There we go. We're going to start at the origin, and we're going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we went to the left, so we know it's going to be a negative number. Okay. Now from here, we're done. We don't have to travel up or down on the y-axis, so that's just going to be 0. All right? Now for the quadrant, remember, if it lies on a line or on an axis, then you just name the axis. So it lies on the x-axis, and you're just going to put x-axis. Okay? Now let's go on and move on to discrete graph. A discrete graph is a graph of distinct points. Okay? So it is a graph of distinct points. Okay? And I'm going to just draw the best eyeballing it coordinate plane I can here, okay? There we go. And when you see a discrete graph with distinct points, you're not going to see a line in it at all. It's just going to be a bunch of points. So I'm going to change my color real quick. So you might see, make it a little bit thicker. You might see a point here, and you might see one here, and then you might see one here, and here, 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 here. There's no, I mean, it could be anywhere, but it's just a bunch of points that are placed on the graph. Okay. So now let's talk about a continuous graph. A continuous graph is a graph with connected lines and curves. So it is a graph with connected lines and curves. And if that's messing you up because it's different thickness, I apologize. All right, let me change my color back. I'm going to make another graph here. Okay, change my color again so I can show you what this looks like. Okay, and so this could look any multiple ways, but I'm just going to kind of draw one for you to see. So it might look something like that. Okay, so you can clearly see the difference in the two, where this is a discrete graph with distinct points, and then this one being the continuous graph where it's got connected lines and curves. All right, talk to you later, you guys. Bye.